Tammy Bruce is a State Department spokesperson, also knows media quite well. We've worked together for a little while, and it's good to see you, Tammy, tonight. You know, I have to, I'll be honest with you, I didn't like the optics of it when it started, but when Raising Cane told that story, and I saw just the complexities of that mission, and I immediately understood the fury coming from the president over what the media is trying to do to this unbelievable operation that seems like it went perfectly. It's just an amazing story.
It is, and of course it couldn't be shared until after the success. It is what the American people voted for. This is the kind of leadership that we recognize in President Trump, that we wanted from President Trump, the people he has chosen to surround himself with, including, of course, those two gentlemen. Very exciting times, and it is also literally a dynamic where you can't not believe it. Only the unconscious would have to try to deny what has occurred. It's a remarkable dynamic wherein, Rob, Israel and Iran and the UN all agree that this was absolutely destroyed, that there was a recognition that this the effort, the nuclear capabilities have been destroyed, and that, in fact, as we now know, which is President Trump's red line, is that Iran can't ever have a nuclear weapon. Iran will now not ever have a nuclear weapon. But it does expose, and your segment is absolutely correct, it exposes the remaining Trump derangement syndrome and the willingness effectively to mislead the American people about one of the most important military missions we've had in generations, that has changed the Middle East already, that will change millions of lives going into the future for the better. The president has been committed, as he has been a peacemaker, to end carnage that is unfolding, but to improve the quality of people's lives, to end the suffering, certainly in the Middle East and around the world. This action now opens that door. And now we have a ceasefire, which will lead, we believe, of course, to peace overall. And very proud also of Secretary Marco Rubio, also as the National Security Advisor, by his side. It has been an exciting time for Americans. The world has changed, and no matter what the New York Times or any of the legacy media tries to do, they will fail.
Yeah, everybody seems to agree on what happened in Iran except for CNN.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Who wasn't there, by the way. I want to play this. There was an intel briefing, a Senate intel briefing on Iran today. I want to play Chuck Schumer and Tom Cotton, Democrat and Republican, on their assessment after hearing the briefing. Take a listen.
Great.
We have struck a major blow alongside our friends in Israel against Iran's nuclear program that is going to make America safer, our friends in the region safer, and protect the world from the risk of an Iranian nuclear weapon for years.
President Trump said that the nuclear stockpile was completely and totally obliterated. I did not receive an adequate answer to that question.
Schumer says he didn't receive an adequate answer as to whether or not the stockpile, which would have been down there and under Fordo, was completely obliterated. What's your response to that?
Well, you know, I, of course, have learned, it was very quick, a quick lesson, that I believe President Trump. I rely on his word. It is clear that the president is going to have more information, more intellectual understanding of the nature of what has occurred here, more briefings, more access to certain information that directed not just the action to do this, but what the result was. And that is what we can believe in. We've seen that with what President Trump has said. He delivers. He is, I think, one of the very few people who tells it like it is to the American people. It is that kind of transparency. What I would also suggest is that when we are looking at this kind of dynamic as well, which is why that first low confidence report is meaningless, is that we understand this will take some time to get to the details, some level of human intelligence. And what I tell my briefing room here at the State Department as the spokesperson is that just because we might not see something happening doesn't mean it's not occurring. There's a lot that goes on 24/7 to ascertain what it is we need to accomplish and how we're going to get there. And that's when, again, my appreciation of President Trump in particular, and certainly Secretary Rubio, is the honesty that comes forth when it comes to what we're doing and how we're achieving it.
I'd like to know who's making the movie about the two guys that studied Fordo for 15 years before they blew it up.
Yeah.
Because that's one of the coolest stories.
A real commitment, real commitment, professionalism, and patriotism right there.
It's awesome. Awesome. Cheers to them and to the ladies and gentlemen that dropped the bombs. What an amazing weekend. What an amazing story and a real fight for some kind of peace in the Middle East. The impossible, right?
Indeed.
Tammy Bruce, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
You know, everybody's reporting the same stories, the same spin. You turn the channel, it's always the same. But not us. We're different. We report the real news. No spin, just the facts. Turn to us, and you won't turn back.
Tune in to Rob Schmitt tonight on Newsmax.